Hey everybody, Seth Hawkins, Georgia Forestry Commission here. Welcome to another episode of our Ask the Arborist Tree Care video series. Today we're going to talk about proper tree pruning. So we're going to demonstrate a little pruning and talk about the reasons you would want to prune your trees. The first reason you prune a tree is for tree health and vigor, and the second reason would be, tree structure and overall safety of those trees, especially once they start to get larger. And the third reason would be aesthetics, flowering, overall form, and just look of your backyard. So with that, we'll go check out some trees, see what pruning we can do, and kind of demonstrate some of that stuff. Hey guys. Say, this is Alex Ballard and Matt Peterson, both also community foresters with the Georgia Forestry Commission and ISA certified arborists. They're going to be our pruning crew for today, and we're going to do a little bit of pruning on this tree we planted about 2 planting seasons back. So it's in need of just a little basic structural pruning to make sure it gets off on the right foot to have really good safe structure down the road. So we talked about those 3 reasons for pruning, either for the tree health and vigor. So we'll remove things like these sucker branches and all this just to help make sure resources get up the tree. Sucker growth is the term used for those little water sprouts that come out at the base of the tree and up the stem of the tree, and it's just good practice to go ahead and remove those. Then we'll talk about, we'll prune for structure and safety. So we'll get some of these branches taken out of these crowded whorls here, getting any interior rubbing or crossing branches pruned out and things like that. And then that third reason to prune, we talked about aesthetics. We'll just kind of shape this crown a little bit, bring it back into itself, and make sure it has a nice symmetrical looking crown. Hey, thanks Alex. No problem. And remember, whenever you're doing any tree pruning, safety gloves, hard hat are always a good idea, especially when branches are up over your head you're trying to cut. So as you can see, Matt's going to cut this sucker growth off the stem of the tree. And you can see where he's making that cut right outside the branch collar of that little branch. And you'll notice that little bit of bulge coming off the stem. That means he didn't get into the branch collar and make it a flush cut. So that was a really good pruning cut. But we'll make sure to get all these suckers off just so we can make sure we're getting all the water and resources going up to the foliage and up to the crown. So now Alex is going to do a little bit more of structural pruning. What we were doing before was kind of for the tree health, but this is going to be for the long-term structure of the tree. So again, you notice all these same branches coming out of that one confluence. So he's going to take out some of those branches so they have a little more room to grow. A branch confluence is a spot on the tree where multiple branches come out of the main stem at one spot up the tree. Another thing you'll notice is we use the hand pruners for that sucker growth, but you notice the diameter on these branches getting a little larger up here, so it's really best to use your hand loppers when you can. And right here, Alex is going to take this branch back to its parent branch, because you can see how this was kind of growing back into the center of the tree. And you'll see where he's taking it back to a crotch or a union on that branch. You don't want to make an internodal cut and just cut it wherever. You make sure to cut it back to a union or a crotch or back to the main stem. An internodal cut refers to a pruning cut that's either not at the branch collar or not at a node, which is a spot at which a new branch would form. And here's where Alex is just going to do some final cleanup, making sure he gets any small suckers that are coming off the main stem, and just cleaning up little twigs that maybe have been shaded out in the interior of the canopy. So Matt and Alex are off assessing some other trees for their pruning needs. I was going to take this time to show y'all some maybe not so great pruning from the past and how we can fix that, and talk about some larger branches, how we can remove those without harming the tree further. So let's go check it out. So this right here is an example of a past pruning cut that maybe isn't the best pruning practices, right? You can see it's just an internodal cut, leaving this big stub. And if you look real closely, there's some fungal decay setting up in this stub, and that fungal decay can use this stub to run right back into the parent stem or into the parent branch that it's attached to. But we can fix this by making our cut at the proper place. It'll trigger the compartmentalization process and seal off that wound rather than just having this rotting stub sticking out like this. So I was talking about making the cut at the right place to trigger the compartmentalization process. We want to cut back to either a crotch or a union or the main stem. We don't want to just leave this stub on here, allowing fungal decay to get back into the rest of the tree. So the big thing here is going to be making sure you make this cut right outside that branch collar. But the big thing with a branch this size is using something arborists call the 3-cut method to alleviate some of this weight when we take the final cut off, because we don't want this to peel bark down the side of the tree. The tree can't seal a wound on the side of its stem like that. So I'm going to demonstrate the 3-cut method. I use this for pretty much anything bigger than my thumb. Sometimes it seems like overkill, but I've seen some really small branches peel down a tree before. So the big thing with the 3-cut method, it's not just a clever name. You make 3 cuts. Again, the whole point's to alleviate weight before we make that 3rd and final cut. Your first cut's going to be an undercut about 6 inches out from that branch collar where you want to make your final cut. So you make your undercut about halfway, maybe a 1/3 to a halfway up from the underside of that branch. Your second cut will be starting from the top side, maybe about an inch, 1.5 inches outside of that first undercut. And you're going to come all the way down with that. Sometimes it'll pop off and you'll get this nice little upside down stair step looking thing. Sometimes if there's not enough weight on the branch, it'll just saw all the way down through and you'll just have that stub again. So then your 3rd and final cut, once you've alleviated all that weight off that branch, will be coming back to your branch collar to make your final cut in the right spot to trigger that compartmentalization process to seal that wound. Hey, thanks y'all. So you see they got us all cleaned up, and you can see we've got some pretty good structure established in this tree now, just from a little bit of basic pruning. You know, basic young tree structural pruning is something that most of us can do in our backyard that'll really improve the health and structure of our trees long term. It can also save us a lot of time, effort, and money down the road. The earlier we intervene and get good structure into a tree, the easier and more affordable it is to keep that tree with good structure, especially once it starts to get large. If you ever have any further questions or want to learn more about pruning, our website, gatrees.org, has a lot of great resources and pruning diagrams and other tree care topics. I also invite you to visit our Ask the Arborist webpage, where you can submit questions and pictures, and our team of arborists will help answer your tree care questions. So thanks for reviewing today, and I will see y'all in the next tree care video.